Welcome to another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. This is episode 266. Today we have Pies of Forms blazing out there in Hollywood, Dr. Ryan Dawson, and Luke and I are coming in today from Grand Junction, Colorado. And I'm really excited. We were just warming the microphone up before this episode started and learned a lot about you, man. Learned about this epic road trip you were on, learned about your journey through collegiate sports, learned about your journey of becoming a chiropractor. And I know a lot of people out there probably like, Dawson, tell us the story, man. I know that your family are going to be watching this. You have patients that will be watching this, and a lot of friends are going to be watching this. So let's give them your best. Tell us your chiropractic story, man. What got you into this beautiful profession?
Yeah, of course. First off, thanks Jim and Luke for having me on Chiro Hustle. Appreciate you guys. Just want to recognize you guys for what you do, and yeah. So I'm ready to be on here. You know, I'm happy, and let's jam it. So yeah, I'm a Dr. Ryan Dawson. I practice here in beautiful Los Angeles, California, specifically in West Hollywood, and it has been a beautiful journey becoming a chiropractor. I have some amazing patients, some amazing help on my team. And this is by far the best profession that I could have ever chosen. And I am absolutely stoked to be on Chiro Hustle, sharing this story with you guys today. So thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So what led you to become a chiropractor?
That is a very good question. I was not from a family of chiropractors. I didn't have some car fell on my back story, but I do have a interesting story in that I feel like my whole life has been kind of leading up to this one purpose, and chiropractic has been in line with that purpose. And so what that purpose is being out in nature, getting reacquainted with our mind and body, and moving the body. And it just so happens that chiropractors are the best at analyzing and getting the body to specifically move in specific areas. And we call those subluxations or fixations. And yeah, so as a movement specialist, as a collegiate athlete, moving into professional athlete, I had lots of opportunities growing up to work through injuries, especially Tommy John surgery. And, you know, those were very enlightening experiences for myself. And so one of the very first things before I was ever going to become a chiropractor was I wanted to understand the body. And as a student of consciousness, I am always learning. And, you know, as my practice grows and I continue to grow in the influence that I have with my people, I try to always be grateful for what I started on, which is just being a student of health and a student of the body, student of the mind, and a student of consciousness. And I see the body as the vessel as of which our consciousness can be carried through this life. And so in order to express my consciousness the best, in order to be the most aware and make my best decisions, I knew first I was going to have to understand my body and the physiology, the anatomy, how that worked. And so chiropractic, nobody knows the body better than chiropractors. And we spend a lot of time working with people physically, you know, mentally, spiritually. And so this is a wonderful profession for any of younger people that are wondering, you know, what it is that we actually do. We're not cracking any bones. We're not breaking any bones. Just like how our ears release pressure when we're changing altitude, our spine actually has built-in biomechanical benefits that will release pressure inside the joint capsule. And when those two articular surfaces build up too much pressure, just like an internal and external atmospheric pressure, a lot of my fibromyalgia patients will say when the weather changes, when it gets cold, the high pressure system comes in, my joints start to hurt. And so just in that same realm, we are releasing specific fixations on that human spine and on their nervous system that gives them a substantial pain relieving effect and allows them to live their body or live their life in their body to their max potential. And helping people optimize themselves and getting away from this quick fix mindset. I feel like chiropractic is the only way for me to really express that, or at least I had to learn that first. I don't know. I still might go back someday and get the medical degree just to do it. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think I need to, because I can help my patients, and I have other medical doctors working with me on my team that are in line with what I'm saying. They understand that, you know, the first line of defense is not surgery and is not just getting pharmaceuticals. So part of our growth and part of what we need to do as a profession is come together with the other professions and help the public understand what it is that we're actually trying to do. And it goes way bigger than chiropractic. It goes way bigger than just any single type of doctor. And really it comes back to public health and healthcare as an entire front. And I think chiropractors are going to be leading the way on this as things shift and more truth comes to light. People are getting to the point where we don't know who to trust. We don't know who to trust the news. We don't know how to trust our medical doctor. We don't know how to trust our surgeon. Is what they're actually saying what's going to be to my best benefit and what's going to help me heal my body the best? And, you know, most of my patients didn't come to me first. They spent years in the realm of taking pharmaceutical drugs and living an unhealthy lifestyle, going from relationship to relationship, constantly being in financial trouble. And so a lot of these patterns that we acquire over our life, they can be very destructive. And so just helping people realize that it's a perspective, it's a spectrum. Health is a spectrum. And so we go from pain and suffering to highly conscious and aware. And if we can just kind of connect the dots on that pathway, I think that it's possible to lead anybody from any lifestyle into a higher level of living. And not that I have all the answers, but we're just kind of piggybacking on what people have been doing for thousands of years and helping the body optimize itself in the most natural way, whether that's through joint fixations and relieving pressure on the biomechanics of the body, helping those physics, and helping the body move less with less friction against our planet's gravity. Is going to give my brain the interpretation that it is moving easier with less pain. And I know where I'm at in space better. So I'm always going to be better off if I'm moving better, if I'm not working as hard, if I'm thinking clearer, and if I have well levels of stress, because I'm not trying to fight my body just to live my life and go to my job. So chiropractic, I could go on for days, because it really does encompass my whole universe, and I can connect those dots all the way down to the cellular and DNA level, all the way out to kind of the cosmos, and going into what Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about is the quantum field, and how the past, present, and the future, these are all things that are going on simultaneously. And whether or not we become aware of our lifestyle and how we change the way we think will change where we're going. And so getting present and getting orientated, a lot of the times that starts with me just being grateful for what I do have. And so no matter where we're at, no matter what our situation is, I think if we have another breath in our lungs, then we can be grateful for something and get orientated from there, stop feeling sorry for ourselves, and break free of whatever it is that we are suffering from, whether that's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, or a little bit of everything. It might seem like a lot because we haven't been aware of these problems, or maybe we were just dissociating from them or negligent to them. So we got a lot of work to do, but it's a fun process to see your work come to fruition. And it's good to be in good company along the way. And so I don't know if that answered the question, but I love chiropractic, and I think it's the best profession in the world. You can call it a happy meal for all I care. It doesn't have to be called chiropractic. What we do is so special because we're helping people who otherwise would never have even come into our office. And, I turn non-believers into lifetime members. And that's what we have to remember when people talk bad about my pit bull, or they talk bad about my profession, whatever. We just got to understand that that's where they're at in their journey, and we just have to show them a better, more enlightened path. And so I try not to take everything, at face value whenever someone is like, oh, are they, what's he even do? Is he going to crack my neck? Because we do a lot of different things in my office. We'll touch on functional medicine, nutrition, and obviously physical therapy, exercise, physio exercise, functional movement training, and going into mindfulness and meditation. We even talk about finances, and part of my what I call the daily optimization plan that I give my patients, because if we're financially stressed out, that's going to play into our stress and our relationships as well. So we got to kind of take a holistic approach at our lifestyle. And then whenever we have specific things that we need done, we can dive into that subcategory.
Well, it sounds to me that you're very fundamental when it comes to the chiropractic profession being a solution-based practice and helping optimize people's human potential and taking people from a point of sick and suffering to a point of thriving. And it is a longevity practice, and it does save people's lives from drugs and surgery. And I've always been told, if we don't tell people the truth about chiropractic, someone else eventually will mislead them with drugs or surgery. So It's our job to stand the line and tell people how we can help them, why it's effective, and build a rapport with them. You get about 2 minutes to do that. Absolutely. And then allow people to come in as a part of that healing journey, because It's not a quick fix, and it is a lifestyle. And it needs good leadership, and it needs somebody that's willing to touch on topics that they might get blown by on with other types of modalities in the healing world. And one of my mentors, Dr. Ed Osborne, he would always say that we're more alike than we are different. And I don't think that there's anybody out there in the healing world, whether it's in the pharmacology world or whether it's in the drugs and surgery world, they want people to get sick and suffer longer. Right. I think they all went to get their degrees to become somewhat of an advocate to get people to have a better quality of life. They've just been misled by the big money machine that backs their institutions, and they're probably scared as heck to do the right thing.
I agree with you. At least that's what I like to hope to think.
Yeah, but they're probably scared as heck to do the right thing because they just are like everybody else. They depend on a paycheck. Right. And if the powers that be say, hey, we're not paying you anymore if you don't follow this agenda, that scares the heck out of them. And they have just as much student debt as anybody. So you're taking the professionals and you're handcuffing them and telling them to be scared. If you don't do this thing, then you're not going to have a license to practice. So, it's a double standard, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too far. But what I do want to ask you is, what is it like for you to be the first doctor in your family? I'm sure that's kind of like a cool thing to become, but not only that, but it's an honorable thing to become.
It's an absolute honor. I have a wonderful family. My mom and dad are still together, and they were amazing parents. I had the opportunity to play travel baseball growing up, every kid's dream, and we traveled around the country playing ball, and that was some moments I'll always cherish. My grandma and grandpa are amazing. They have always supported me, and I like to think that they're very happy, even though I don't get to see them as much as I used to because they're back home in Missouri. I'm actually going out there in a couple weeks. I'm going to go see them. So the family's good. They are proud of me, and I appreciate their support always. And so it feels good to be where I'm at, but at no point would I say that they're surprised, because I've always kind of been on a trajectory where I wasn't going to stay in my small town and just whether that be playing professional Major League Baseball or some other route. I had this urge to kind of break free and do something a little bit more. And that's what left me to leave home and head to California. And so yeah, I'd say they're proud, but I'm sure that they miss me. And so it's an honor to be where I'm at right now. And I wouldn't be here without my friends or my family that have supported me along the way.
So, what would be some advice you give to another chiropractor who wants to get new patients?
Chiropractor wants new patients. Be patient, and be real with them. So many of these practice management teams, they go over the top with some of the scripts. And so, first and foremost, there's no script for a human. You have to be genuine, you have to be conscious, and take your time. In those first few years when you're starting something new, it's going to suck. You're going to work hard and you're going to do everything that you think you need to be doing. You're going to mess things up and adjust and keep going. And so, after a little bit of time, you try the things that you realize, oh, this isn't really fit me. This isn't how I want to practice. And so I would say find yourself first. Find out how you want to practice, how you can best be your version of yourself, and have the most energy to show up for your job and show up for your people. If you're stoked on chiropractic, great. I have friends that are chiropractors that are really stoked on functional medicine and nutrition. And so whatever that is, the patient deserves a high level of energy and professionalism. And so if we're going to help anybody, we must first help ourselves by getting into that energy state of where I'm going to be able to really serve this person. And from there, things start to come together. Whether you're doing workshops, events, whether you're out doing a kiosk in the middle of the mall, you're going door to door, and just doing spinal screenings out in the parking lot. I've done it all. I've done cold calls. I hate all that stuff because the best form of marketing is always going to be putting your hand on someone's back and saying, how can we tell your friends and family about this? How can we get referrals? Also, jumping on video and having people share their experiences. This is a wonderful platform that we now have to use the internet and all these different types of social medias to get the word out as chiropractors about things that we didn't have the opportunity to do before. So I feel like it's our responsibility as our next generation of chiropractors to get the word out on these things and use these platforms. And people are going to be attracted to that. People are going to be attracted to that energy, what you have to say, and they're going to come from all over to come see your office because we need more chiropractors. There's not enough of us. And so it's one of the fastest growing professions in the world. And I think that it's not growing fast enough. We're going to be the surfing a party wave, riding that huge wave. As soon as the tide shifts and everybody's this next generation that grows up in this pandemic and they see how unhealthy things have been, it's almost like a dichotomy of the universe where these kids, they grow up in unhealthy situations, they want to be healthy. And so I think that the next generation is going to resonate with us even more. And people are going to slip away from drugs and surgery even more and trying to get reconnected with the natural order of things. And whether that's through our technology and electronics and how we're using sustainability through the environment and the food that we eat and how we farm and how we grow food in our agriculture, but also our body, our mind. And a lot of times we put that thing on the back burner and wonder why our life is so going array. A lot of my patients, they didn't have a lifestyle before this. A lot of things they would just kind of go and wherever the wind blows them, and whatever I feel like eating today, and however they made me feel, that's how I'm acting. And so taking control of our life starts with ownership and responsibility. And I think that we are right in line with being able to help people with that. And so go chiropractic.
So you mentioned a lot of stuff there, and you actually answered like 3 out of the next questions we have for you. So great job with that. But one of the things I really want to key in on is two topics, and I know you can take them both at the same time. What are you doing to stay healthy yourself? And how are you best staying connected to your community today?
Pretty much exactly. I mean, when I was on my road trip, you guys, like that was probably one of that was the best time of my life, because I literally gave myself nothing to do. I would literally like look forward to, all right, I'm going to have my coffee. That was it. That's all I had on the agenda for that day. I'm going to have coffee. I'm going to read a book, and I'm going to sleep. I'm going to rest. And then I'm going to go and do whatever else I feel like doing in nature. And so I started my workshops and the organization called Flow State Movement because of what I really love to do, what resonated with me. And I thought, maybe, you know, if other people like this, then they can join me. And if not, then at least I'm joining myself. So what it is just getting people outside. And we do different types of stretching, different types of functional movement training, yoga, and breath work, meditation, mindfulness, visionary kind of transcendental stuff, where we're really trying to picture who we want to be and where we want to go. And that is, you know, what I was doing on my road trip. That's what allowed me to gain who I, you know, the knowledge and the confidence of what I needed to do next after the road trip. And so, yeah, that was something that changed my life. I was always kind of sped up, trying to think about what I needed to do next, where I needed to go, what's the next thing I needed to acquire. And really, it was just more about surrendering and letting things go that I picked up, getting back to being me, getting back to being true to myself, and being centered. And once I had that energy, I could create from there. And so, you know, yeah, just to kind of go back to the last question, you know, these things all playing together. And so, you know, how I get patients is also how I take care of myself. And, you know, it's nice to have a multifaceted thing like that. My adjustments are some of the best in the world from what I heard. So I take my chiropractic very, very seriously. So in that of itself, I feel like I'm going to receive a lot of new patients, and I have, but I also like to go the extra step, and I offer the workshops, and that's a nice bridge way. Not only people don't have to come to my chiropractic after a flow state class, but a lot of them, you know, after hearing what I have to say, and they want to know more. And so, yeah, just getting outside, hiking, moving. I used to do bodybuilding. It was in in the gym a lot, you know, just as a baseball player. I was lifting a lot of weights, just kind of that baseball culture. And, you know, I hurt my back doing that. They told me I was going to need an L5-S1 spinal fusion when I was 19 years old. And so that was one of the things that led me to being a chiropractor. It's like, how do I even take care of this without, you know, going that route? And so, yeah, getting outside, getting into our flow state, tapping into, you know, a higher level of thinking, our higher self, whether that be through our movement patterns, through our breathing, or through active meditation. I literally, when I had my Tommy John surgery in undergrad, which is a surgery for baseball pitchers to reconstruct the ulnar collateral ligament, I started spending a lot of time outside because I got a puppy. I got my dog Bruin. He's been with me for 12 years. And just slowing down, getting outside, going to the park, being in nature, that was something that I saw as a sustainable approach to my life. And I started calling that flow state. And ever since then, people have been jumping on. And I have lots of people, lots of friends that are joining us from all over the world. We have classes every week online, but we also have workshops in person. We haven't been able to do that because of the last year, but we still use our platform to do online workshops, getting people outside and breathing, moving, and then having a clear set intention on where we want to go for the rest of the day.
So, who have been some of your heroes and inspirations throughout the course of your life?
That's, you know, that I have a laundry list of heroes, because I feel like I've never really been able to find the mentor that I really want or deserve. So I've had to kind of go piece together these mentors from the internet and from books that I've read. And, you know, like it's been crazy. I've had, you know, a lot of older docs, whenever I've asked them for help, you know, they kind of get a little, they get a little weird about it. And so I've had the opportunity to have some great teachers, but a lot of my mentors are people that I met on the internet or didn't meet, and I just learned from YouTube. And so, you know, I just drown myself and immerse myself in what they're saying. And so, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza definitely is one of them that comes to mind. Reading a couple of his books right now. And then, I spent a lot of time in the psychedelic community and going around and music and festivals and things like this. So, I love Alan Watts, Terrence McKenna, a lot of these musicians and artists that I grew up listening to. They were also my heroes. And so it's, I would say Dr. Joe would be the first one right now, just because I'm reading his books and following what he's saying with talking about his approach to meditation and stepping into becoming our superhuman. So I think he's my hero right now, but that changes a lot. Once I kind of feel like I've gotten bored with something, I go and find something else to learn. And so Dr. Joe's definitely one right now. I've had a lot of mentors through baseball and just across the board over the years. So, it depends on whether I'm talking about nutrition, chiropractic, life in general. What is it? I've had a fortune to work with some great athletes as well. And so I'm not going to drop any names on my patients that are athletes or celebrities, but that they inspire me as well. And I'm always trying to push myself to be a little bit better for them. But I would say Dr. Joe would be a great person to have a conversation with.
So let me ask you like a personal question about meditation. How long have you been practicing meditation, and what would you say is the optimal length of time for somebody to spend on one session?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've been, actively doing meditation for about 2 years, even though I would say that I've been, doing meditation, whenever I started, after I had my Tommy John, just going to the park and walking around. I feel like that was a form of meditation for me that let my mind wander. A lot of times we think that we're too close to our situation, that going for a walk, getting outside is not going to be like what we need. But once you get out there and you let yourself kind of get away from your situation, away from your problem, you let your circulation go, you get your mind wandering and things start to open up. And so, I think it was Steve Jobs that, he would go for walks during his meetings. And so, just that was a huge part of it. But as far as meditation goes, I'm still not that great at it. How long to meditate is like kind of asking how long is a piece of string. It depends. It really depends on the person. It depends on the day. I think 7 to 10 minutes is a great kind of way to, if you're in your lunch break, spend 7-10 minutes doing some light breathing, relaxing. But I have, went on longer, journeys where I spend a couple hours breathing and meditating and, really just immersing myself and seeing how deep I can dive. And so when I first started doing it, boys, I wasn't very good at it. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was just sitting there, like people were looking at me like, what? I was judging myself a lot. And I didn't realize that was the meditation, was teaching myself how to let that go, coming back to center and just letting myself be and just be present and sit there no matter what my environment is or what's going on around me.
Well, we are almost out of time. So really quickly, could you tell us a cool miracle story that's happened in your office?
A cool miracle story just off the bat. I had this little baby come in. Well, she didn't come in. Her mom brought her in, but she was constipated for 5 days, right? And this is one of my favorite stories because a lot of people don't think that, chiropractic for kids, right? Or even for infants. And, it's usually the parents are like, how, what's, what could possibly be wrong with the baby? They haven't had anything happen to them yet. Well, anyways, baby, say her name's Abigail. She was coming into the office. Mom was coming into office for low back pain, and she was constipated for 5 days. She went to the pediatrician, put her on laxatives, put her on drugs. She even had to go to the emergency room. Nothing happened. And so this baby, they even changed her diet, put her on all applesauce and everything like this. Is crazy. I told Mom's like, you think you can help? I said, it can't hurt. Just bring her in. I'll check. I don't know if I can help, but let's just see. Bring her on by. So she brings her by the office. Mom lays down on her back, puts baby Abigail on her tummy. Her face is all red. She hadn't pooped in 5 days. I mean, just imagine that, you guys. This baby is about to explode. And so she'd been on drugs. She'd been on change her diet. She'd been to pediatrician. She'd been to the emergency room. Still hadn't went. And so I'm palpating this little baby's back, going down the spine and get to the sacrum down to the lower level. And it's pretty hard, pretty firm. And so I just kind of, what's the pressure of which you would check the ripeness of an avocado if you're at the farmer's market? You know, that's about the amount of pressure I put on her back. And I swear I felt like a little, it wasn't pop because babies don't really have bones yet, but it was definitely, it just shifted. And in that moment, her whole body changed color from red back to this nice pinkish hue. She stopped crying. Her diaper exploded. She filled up the diaper. Mom lost her mind. Grandma was there. Like, everybody was applauding. And, you know, you can't fake that. And so, you know, this is one of those chiropractic miracles where, you know, this baby, she was in trouble. She had to go to the bathroom. And, you know, it's not this classic pain model where, you know, we actually removed a blockage. The medical doctor, pediatrician, they never thought to even check the spine first. And so, you know, I just kind of did my palpation and it was right there. The answer was right there. And she went home, pooped again that night. Grandma calls me. She went again. It's amazing. It's a miracle. And so I thought that was pretty cool, you know, because little baby, she couldn't talk for herself, but, you know, she, you know, the action spoke louder than words ever could. And she felt better. And, you know, that was a pretty cool story. And then, you know, Mom also got some major relief as well. She got some sleep and some answers that she had been looking for. So that was cool to kind of help on multiple fronts.
That is a great story. Well, we are out of time, so why don't you wrap up by letting us know where can people go to sign up for your workshops? What are some of your websites people can go to?
Absolutely. So, yeah, you guys can check me out. I have my YouTube channel, Dr. Ryan Dawson. I also am on Facebook. My chiropractic office is Dawson Chiropractic and Human Optimization, based out of West Hollywood. And then I also have my flow state movement class, workshop and organization. You can find those on Instagram as well as on Facebook. And my Instagram profile is Dr. Ryan Dawson. And so that's going to be more of my professional and profile for chiropractic, but health in general. And then specifically for the flow state, it has its own page. I also have my podcast that I do. It's called Neuroblast Radio. And we talk a lot about health, things, workshops, exercises, foods, conversations, anything we can do to stimulate the mind and promote neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to rewire itself for optimal performance. And so, yeah, you guys can find me on there. I'll be around somewhere. Come by and see me at the office if you're ever in LA. I'd love to give you guys an adjustment. If there's anybody that wants to come by my office, you can reach us in West Hollywood. And we are at 8730 Santa Monica Boulevard.
Well, Dr. Ryan, such a pleasure having you on the Chiro Hustle podcast, episode 266. So much value, so much connection, so much real truth. And chiropractic is a beautiful profession. And it is amazing to hear these stories day after day and to be able to be a part of that tapestry that Luke and I are putting together. You
guys are just sewing together a nice quilt here.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be a blanket we can lay over everybody someday and warm them all up, you know?
Yeah. And the vibrational frequency of telling the story has been something that I've heard since the time of Sid Williams giving his lectures at Life College. And if we just keep on telling the story, then people will keep on getting the truth.
Absolutely.
And I always believe that if we keep telling the story, the truth will set people free. And that's why we do the work that we do with this podcast. And we connect with the future leaders like yourself. So we want you to have an amazing day out there in West Hollywood. And I hope to see you soon, brother.
Thank you so much, guys. Very appreciative of both of you, Jim and Luke. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I really wish we could have went longer. I mean, I was planning on a couple hours here, but you're right. We got to keep it short and sweet because, you know, we never know where this might go. But we'll definitely have to do it again. I look forward to seeing you, hopefully in Burbank. So send that stuff over to me. I'm signing off here, you guys. Thank you so much again for having me on Chiro Hustle. And to all the chiropractors out there, stay strong. I believe in you. Keep it up. All the future chiropractors, you're doing great. Pass those boards and get out here. We need your help. So, and then everybody else, come get adjusted. Come see what it's about. And I promise that we're going to take good care of you and do everything we can to help you to the best of our ability. And so thank you, Chiro Hustle, for putting together this beautiful podcast. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you for being our guest, and we want you to enjoy the rest of your afternoon as well.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you.
See you, Dr. Ryan.
Take care.
Bye-bye.